It's Kieran Sweeney. Hi, everybody. It's Kieran Sweeney and Kim Johnson, and we are live again with some great content. And we're talking about Nail It in 90, which is a phenomenal online coaching program which will help you achieve whatever it is you want to achieve in 90 days, whether it be, increase that income, get that book published, or make that little documentary film that you've been working on, or build that landing page, or just lose some weight, get in shape, or become a better whatever. That's what we help you do. Now, what we're doing is doing this free series of videos. You can see them all here on our YouTube channels, and you can watch them and just get some insight into how we can help you. We love giving lots of content away, so we hope you'll watch it. And if you'd like to engage with us on our online coaching program, which is ridiculously inexpensive, I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But that's what we're doing. If you're watching this video for the first time, my name is Kieran Sweeney. I'm an international speaker, and I'm also the CEO of Breakthrough Leadership Academy, and also the CEO of Mag Creators, an online digital magazine, and platform that teaches you how to create an online digital magazine, and also president of Local Insights, a digital branding agency. My partner Kim Johnson here is a very accomplished coach. The other day we were talking about what standard do you hold yourself to? Well, she's worked with some of the greatest trainers in the industry. One of those being Tony Robbins, and she still as one of his great coaches. In order to be a coach with the Tony Robbins group, you have to be at a certain standard, and she's achieved that. So her and I have partnered up together so that we can help a lot more people, and we're doing it online. And Kim, why don't you tell them about yourself, and then we'll get into some good content.
Hi everybody, I'm Kim Johnson. I am happy in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. Beautiful sunny day here today, and I'm very happy to be down here. I am originally from Boston, so you can imagine if you've listened to the news anywhere around the U.S., they're pretty snowbound up there. I understand there's like 7 feet of snow and still hasn't started to melt, so I'm pretty happy that I'm not.
If I'm watching this in July, that's not relevant, is it?
That's not relevant, but I'm still happy in South Carolina, even if it's July. I can assure you of that, because it's pretty awesome here. Yeah, and
if you're watching this in July, it's probably pretty humid right now.
Yes, but I'm still going to assure you I'm happy because I'll be at the beach, because it's Charleston, right? There's beaches everywhere. So I've been in this business for about 18 years now, self-development industry, and I love it. It's what I do. I write books. I have children's books. I have Nail It 90. I have all these things that are going on just because it's so important to me to be able to help people and help them figure out, what has to happen to make things move in your life and get going. And that's one of the reasons we partnered up together, was how can we make this more affordable, more reachable, how can we get to as many people as possible. So that's why I'm here, and I'm very happy to be here.
Well, today we're going to talk about what's stopping you, and this is Kim's got a great interesting perspective on this, so I'm going to let you go first today because I really like what we were saying in our warm-up. But basically, we all have things we want to accomplish in life, and we come up with reasons and excuses and stories as to why we can't do them, and they hold us back. So, but where does that come from? That's the key. And Kim's approach in helping you break through this and to stop the pattern of what's stopping you so that you hit go, and she's got a really great perspective. So why don't you tell them your perspective on it, and also you've got a great story to share as well.
So, having done this for a long time, when I first started coaching, I used to listen to people tell me all the time what was stopping them, and I would listen to their story, and I had compassion and empathy, and I would listen. And after doing this for a number of years, I realized that, you know what, those stories are just stories, and we own our stories to the point where they consume us. We become that identity, and the story starts to take over. So I just started playing around with a different approach, and I started going with the, well, what would happen if we didn't care what the story was? Doesn't really matter. Let's just let the story go and figure out what has to happen for you to move forward. So usually when I ask that question, it kind of fries someone's brain. They go, well, what do you mean? I want to tell you my story. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. I just don't want to hear your story. And I love you enough to tell you, I don't want to hear your story anymore. It's killing you. Your story's killing you. It's killing your dreams. It's sucking the life out of your the very existence that you want to create because you keep buying the story. So how do you move past that? Is you actually just move. You start doing things. It's the process of taking action, because any action, even no matter how small it is, will put the process in motion. So for myself, I noticed this was showing up because I used to write. I've always been a writer. I always wrote even when I was little. And my father was a huge, huge supporter in my life, but he was not a huge supporter of being a writer because he didn't think there was any money in it. So he would say things to me like, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't be a writer. There's no money in that. You know, that's a hard thing to do. And I avoided it, and I avoided it, but then I would always write. I had all these little stories I would write, children's books that I would write, and I never published them. And then once I realized this whole thing about movement and going, rather than trying to figure out how to fix this thing in the back of my head about my dad saying this might not be a good idea, I decided to just, you know what would happen if I just took the first story and I gave it to somebody and had them illustrate it. So it's out of my hands. It's not really my job right now, but I'm just doing that, and let's see what happens. And that's how my very first book was born, my children's book, The Things in Your Head, which you can see it if you want to on Amazon, The Things in Your Head. But it was amazing because that one action started a ball rolling. And before you know it, she was excited. My artist, Jill, got really excited about illustrating it, and she started talking about things. And you know what? All that excitement started to drown out the story. And then eventually, I got to the point where when I was writing Nail It in 90, I was like, hey, that's so not my identity anymore. It just came out. Like, oh, yeah, I don't worry about that anymore because I coach and I do all that, but that story has no validity anymore in my head. It doesn't make any sense to me to own that identity. So by taking the action, I overrode the story. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Well, you changed the story, right?
Change the story, and I didn't have to make up a new story. I just simply took the action, and the action changed the story. So inside, I can remember when I first started the writing, I had all the voices going off. Oh my gosh, are you sure this is a good idea? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know how I'm blah 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 blah? All the voices were chiming off at the same time. But because I was in action mode, and I had said to myself, no, I'm not getting up from this until I have this done. And I sat there. I mean, I'm writing a children's book. It's not a lot of pages. You can lock yourself in a room to make yourself do it, right? That's what I did. And because I did it that way, I had no choice. I made a commitment, and that overrode, the action overrode the story. And that's what I challenge my clients to do. And ironically, what happens is, you'll get all the way through and you'll see them start taking action. They take more action, they take more action, and all of a sudden they're making their progress, and they'll say, hey, you know what? I just figured out what's been stopping me all this time. Once they stopped thinking about it, then it was able to come out and be, here I am. This is what was stopping me. Just like when you can't remember someone's name and it drives you crazy. Who was that actor? Who was that actor? And then the next thing you know, you're like, 2 days later, I remember, it was Bill Murray, right? Like, that's who it was, you know. But it's just that energetic release that does it for you.
I'm glad you're talking about a great Canadian actor there, even though he's nuts. Okay,
you know. In South Carolina, though, I've seen him at my grocery store. I was very excited about that, I have to say.
He golfs down there. Okay, so something came to mind when you're talking, and it's related to my own story and my own breakthroughs, if you will. So I've always had these times in my life. Like today, I'm very successful. I've built great businesses. I've sold them, built them internationally. I've been an international speaker all over the world, still am. And, you know, I love life. You know, I love it. I'm happy because, and the reason I'm happy is because I broke through my fears. I became a whatever it takes kind of person. And I used to like to wait until everything was lined up and everything was perfect, and then I'd execute, but nothing ever got done because I was waiting for everything to be lined up. And I remember when I was working in my first and last job. I've had one job in the professional sense, and I was spent 5 years in that job, and I loved it in the beginning, but near the end I was miserable and I wanted to get out. Now, I'd already started a part-time business, and the business was doing really well, However, I had this fear, the fear of really stepping across the line, the fear of just stepping into that business and making that business my source of income. And there was a lot of fear around that because I was conditioned for security. I was conditioned to be an employee. But I had an entrepreneurial mindset, but I was always brought up in a, go to school, get a job kind of environment. So I was afraid to cross the line. I went to a week-long seminar, Bob Proctor, Jack Canfield, and a few other great guys. And I came back, I was changed. I resigned. 2 weeks later, I was on my own. And as you were talking, I was thinking, what did it take to push me across the line? Well, it took coaching. It took somebody to coach me. And I also met my mentor, Doug, at that event, and he became my business mentor. And it was Doug who, kind of guided me and coached me and mentored me. And so for me, every time I've crossed that line of fear for anything, it's because there was always somebody there to encourage me. And isn't it true, Kim, that even you and I, we still need encouragement? I mean, you encourage me, I encourage you, but we still require it because there's still the doubts in our mind. Because it's like I recently started an academy, and it's called Breakthrough Leadership Academy, and it's an academy where I can train my courses, my business courses, my personal development courses, and I avoided this forever. I mean, I've been in the seminar business for a long time, and for the last 10 years, I've been promoted by promoters around the world. So I was a seminar facilitator. I had the material. I showed up. I trained for 3 or 4 days. I left. Everybody else did all the work. They got the venues. They filled the rooms. So I decided that was an easy way to do the seminar business. I didn't have to worry about it. But then what happens is sometimes complications come up with the promoter. So I won't get into that detail, but so I decided, you know what? I need to do this on my own. I need to do it all on my own. I need to do it, and I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to do all the advanced work, and I didn't want to do all that. And I said to myself, but Kieran, if you're going to really achieve the level you want to achieve, you've got to do it for you. You've got to do it. So I made a decision, and I just recently made this decision, and I just said, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do my own. And I tell you, it's been less than a month. I've already got clients. I've got people coming to events, and it's like, oh my God, this isn't that hard. You see, I kept thinking it was hard, but it's not. Because once I made the decision, then people are showing up. I'm doing creative things to engage people. People are coming. People who know me are coming, and all of a sudden it's all happening. And I haven't even thought about the fear anymore, or the doubts, or the worries. I'm totally in a buzz about this. But here's what happens. There's a recording in the mind, and this recording is embedded deep in the mind. And what happens is we play this recording over and over. Now listen. Hi, Kieran, you can't do this. No way. You're not good enough. No, it'll never work. Once I realized this. Now, that plays all the time. In your head, in my head, and all of us have different recordings, and it just keeps playing. And every time you want to do something, hi, Kieran, you can't do this. No way. You're not good enough. No, it'll never work. No. Once I realized this whole thing. You see, if we allow that recording to play, hi, Kieran, you can't do this. No way. You're not good enough. No, it'll never work. Okay. Or what do? I change the recording. Hi, Kieran, you're an amazing trainer, and you're going to empower a lot of lives. Go for it. You will do it. You'll figure it out. It's just going to happen. Hi, Kieran, you're an amazing trainer, and you're going to empower a lot of lives. Go for it. You will do it. You'll figure it out. It's just going to happen. So, Kim, I changed the story. That's all I do. And I have the tools. I have the ability, but I just I just have to remove the doubts and the fears, and I can do it.
Well, and you changed the story. Notice how you changed the story. You changed it by an action, right? Like you actually, and it's such a small distinction, right? But like the action of sitting in fear is still an action, right? So the action of just taking a step and doing something, anything, it doesn't matter what it is, it starts that inertia and it starts you to move. And yes, I think it's important, and everyone should recognize, I don't care who you are. I have coached thousands and thousands of people all over this world, and let me tell you this, the people that you think would not have something going on in there have the biggest stories of all. That's why they act out the way they do. That's why they show up the way they do, because they're like so paranoid about the conversation going on their bus, as I like to say. We're a cast of characters on our own bus traveling around, and the conversations are loud, and that's how they show up and they come out. So you just have to recognize you're not alone. Everyone has that internal voice. Everyone's got chatty Cathy back there being, you know, da 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 da. You just don't have to listen. It's your choice to listen. It's always your choice to listen or not listen. You can take the action, drown it out. You can sit there and listen and see how it works out. For me, I just don't think that it's worth it to waste any more time listening to the same old story. You would not watch the same old movie over and over again, especially if it was a bad, crappy movie. Someone would walk in and say, what are you doing watching this horrendous movie again? Shut it off. Yet that's what we do. And I just think it's worth your time to take a look at it and say, okay, I'm not going to listen. I'm going to change my story, and I'm going to take an action, because the action, in any other way, shape, or form, it will change everything.
Perfect. Now, the other thing that might be stopping some people is waiting for everything to be perfect, and everything, all the ducks are lined up in a row. And you know, that's often, you know, people are waiting. They're perfectionists and they want everything to be perfect. Well, you know what? Guess what? It's never going to be perfect. And you know, there's a common teaching in this industry called ready, fire, aim. And ready, fire, aim is okay. Ready, execute, and you'll figure it out as you go. And if you're willing to do that, obviously you have to have some planning and some methodologies in place and a vision, but you can start and figure things out as you go along. And it's just like rowing a canoe. You know, you can row a canoe down the river and you're going to come to a bend, and what's around the bend? I don't know. There could be rapids, could be a waterfall, but I'm not going to know. But I'll get around the bend and it's like, oh, it's clean sailing. Okay, that's easy. So we just keep going. So, you know, we put these blocks in our mind, and it's not necessary. So the key is as you said, what are you going to do about it? And that's how we can help you in Nail It in 90. Help you really uncover what are you going to do about it? Let's just get it done, because most people succeed. Do you know that? Most people succeed eventually. Yes, you might have some hiccups along the way, or you know, they call them failures. But we're going to talk about it in an upcoming session. But you know, failures are really good, because you know, I don't know any successful person that didn't have a lot of failures. So, and you know what? You'll still have failures, and it's just going to happen. I'm going to have failures, and you know, I'm going to make mistakes. So what? But you know what? I'm alive. I'm living my dream, and I'm passionate about what I do, and who cares? Like Kim and I have been making a bunch of videos. Have we had a few failures?
Very few
videos.
Yes, exactly. We've made a lot more that you can't see, because for some reason or another, the tech gods didn't work it out. So it's okay. It's all right. We just laughed it off and said, okay, great. We're getting better at it. That's all there is. And I will say this. You mentioned something about the perfectionist, and I want to say this. If you are a perfectionist and you're hearing this, think about this. And you want something to be perfect, and every single moment you're growing. So your definition of perfect is evolving, and you're constantly going to be working on that. So you can wait for perfect, but then it's never really going to be perfect, because you've become more perfect. So think about that little conundrum. Progress is the only path to perfection, my friends. And if you're not making progress, then you can't hit your ultimate perfection.
Progress is the only path to perfection. There you go. Good line. Okay, nailitin90.com. So here's where we are. It's nailitin90.com/store. So you can check out the website, nailitin90.com, or if you want to join up now, you can join anytime. Nailit90.com/store. You just jump in anytime. It's a live coaching program. We'll send you the details, and it's good. You'll be in it for 13 weeks, for 90 days, and it's $199. Who charges that? Nobody. So why are we doing this? Because we can. We're doing this because we want to basically help as many people as possible. Because we also recognize that it's a big world. There's people all over the world where, you know what, $199 is a lot more money than it is in the United States and Canada and in Europe. But in some parts of the world, it's a bit more. So, like, we can't expect people to pay $999 for a coaching program in certain parts of the world. So, but the message is this: we don't need to. We can deliver great content. We can get you to where you want to go at a very affordable price. And the benefit is we get to help a lot more people. So that's why we're doing this. Kim and I are about accessibility and affordability. And Breakthrough Leadership Academy which also offers Nail It 90, is about accessibility and affordability. Being able to take courses, business courses, personal development courses, so that you can have success and it doesn't drain you financially. So that's what we're about, and that's our mission, and we're going to help millions, not thousands, millions, because we can. And thank God for the internet, and thank God for all of our great tech support people who help us, so we're very grateful. So, okay, so hopefully we'll see you in our course very soon, and you can take it once, you can take it multiple times, it's up to you, but we highly encourage you to give us 90 days and watch what happens. Just watch what happens to your life and to your business in a short 90-day period. It's going to be awesome. Say bye, Kim.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for listening.